Hi again, it's Dory, and today I'm answering a question from Master Chief. Master Chief would like to know, how did we invent rockets? As with many inventions, we created rockets by building on previous knowledge and inventions. In the case of rocketry, this science can be traced back to ancient times. The first recorded demonstration was 360 BCE, when a Greek named Ahitas heated water inside a hollow clay pigeon with strategically placed holes. The pigeon was held up by wires, and as the steam escaped, the pigeon moved along the wires under its own power. About 160 years later, people in China created the first gunpowder from charcoal, saltpeter, and sulfur. They used this substance to create firecrackers. The gunpowder would be added to bamboo tubes. Then those tubes would be put into fires as part of religious festivals. Later, they added these tubes to arrows and learned that once they were lit, the arrows could fly themselves. These true rockets were used when the Chinese and Mongols were at war starting in 1232. Essentially, a bamboo tube filled with gunpowder would be capped at one end and attached to a long stick. The stick was included to keep the rocket moving straight towards its target. Once the Chinese used them in warfare, the Mongols started making their own version, which spread through Europe. People throughout Europe started experimenting with this technology through the 13th, 14th, and 15th centuries to increase the range and accuracy of the rockets. Jean Froissart is credited with being the first person to realize launching a rocket through a tube would make the flight more accurate. In 1591, German Johann Schmidlapp invented the first two-stage rocket. This version was made of a large skyrocket, which carried the smaller second-stage rocket to a higher altitude before it was activated. Things picked up steam during the 17th century after Sir Isaac Newton published his laws of motion that we explore at Starbase. Rocket builders started experimenting with using rockets to move people in Germany and Russia. By the end of the 18th century, rocketry turned back to warfare, but they still weren't very accurate. At the turn of the 20th century, a Russian teacher named Konstantin Tsiolkovsky suggested exploring space using rockets by burning liquids. It took about another 30 years for Robert H. Goddard to fly the first liquid-propelled rocket. He used liquid oxygen and gasoline as fuel sources and continued to design larger rockets that could go higher throughout the rest of his career. 3 years later, Fritz von Opel flew a rocket-powered plane in Germany. The first rockets that could reach space also came out of that country. Engineers led by Werner von Braun developed the V-2 rockets in 1942. After World War II ended, the United States started using them to take measurements of our atmosphere. The Soviet Union launched the first man-made satellite called Sputnik 1 on October 4, 1957, using a rocket. From that point on, human rocket technology has continued to grow, allowing us to explore farther into outer space. Thanks for watching this episode of Ask Starbase, and a special thank you to Master Chief for asking this question. If you have a STEM question, please email it to ask@starbase-ct.com, or you can submit it through our website, starbase-ct.com. Stay safe and be well. Bye!